that, James, who wants to do this?
I have been chosen as tribute. Okay. I think one of the best things about my father would be his vision, his lifelong vision. That's something my mom does better than anything else. He's a very simple man. He always had one thing he wanted to do, and that was to help people and to take care of his family. And that's his vision. And what I think is interesting right now is I'm standing here and I'm looking at everyone here, and all of you are part of his vision. Because my dad had wanted to reach out to every single one of you and touch each one of you in a different way. And so to me, one of the most special things about my dad is he may be simple, and he may not like, a whole lot of things, like he doesn't like board games, I can tell you that. But, he likes helping people, and he likes teaching people, and he likes doing both of those here, because he can teach everyone here how to protect themselves, which in advance helps other people from here. So it's kind of a web. So his vision is touching everyone else. I think that's one of the most special things about him. Just thought I'd share that.
You're up, girl.
Okay. My dad, I guess, loves you guys, like other children pretty much. Like, when he's not with us, he's always thinking about you guys. When he's here with you guys are his children. You're his students, and he loves you guys. And he's very passionate about what he does. And I think that's what makes Master Hahn an awesome dad and an awesome teacher. With this whole thing, he would do anything to do it and do anything to come back to you guys. He loves you guys. It's like a family, pretty much.
Yeah, he stole my speech.
Master Hahn, I'm his oldest, one of his oldest friends, and his oldest martial arts friend. And I'm going to go back to a time when probably your parents weren't born, and which is kind of scary. But it's 1976, and there's two really skinny martial artists training in a Korean art under a very strict Korean master, and they meet. I had about 6 months on Gene Hahn, on Master Hahn, so I would always be, from that point on, his teacher. And really, when you think about 6 months in our lives, it's not very significant. But in martial arts, even if it's 6 days, you get to be his teacher. But we were best friends, so it really didn't matter. And we trained and trained and trained together, like some of you trained. Exactly like with Mr. Collins and Mr. Cody, they pushed two individuals that are roughly the same age. You guys have the same goals, and you guys trained together. And that was us 35 years ago. And it was a wonderful time. And we really we hewed our Taekwondo Chang Moo Kwan ability in the fire of each other's spirits, always playing off each other's energy to become better and better. I would not be the martial artist today if I had a different partner, because Master Hahn, soft-spoken, very gentleman, was a very worthy fighting opponent, one of the best fighters I've ever trained with. And that's what we did. We fought in tournaments, about 70 tournaments together. And win or lose, we were always learning from each other. And so he was it's kind of hard to explain to some folks, but he was one of the best teachers I ever had before either of us were ever teachers. And now seeing Gene some 35 years later, and he's not doing well, and being by his side so much, as the family will tell you, he's still teaching me. And things like courage, spirit, faith, family, confidence, the ability to, no matter what your state of mind is or state of being, to still be a teacher. We can't go into it now, but he's brought so much of the world together without moving a finger. And it just shows you what a strong spiritual connection he has to his students and to probably the universe. There's a lot going on with him, and I would like to say the most important thing to the family is keep him in your prayers. And definitely keep him in your thoughts. Those two things I guarantee he can feel. And I personally and the family will also convey what a wonderful group we had tonight and your spirit. to him. I will tell you a story because James won't forgive me if I don't, and I think it's his favorite story, but to give you an idea how close we are and the kind of relationship we had when we were your age, right? These people over here, them people, we were trained together, and we used to like to break boards. And you know, boards are significant of a barrier, right? I mean, it's not really breaking the wood. Most people can do that with a saw. But it's a personal barrier when you kick it with your foot, or you break it with your hand or your head. And we did all those things. And then whenever there was a board or two lying around the studio, we'd pick it up and break it. And Master Chang, our first teacher, got really upset with that because he never had any boards when the students wanted to break, because Gene and I used to break them all, right? So one day there was two lying around. I went to Master Hahn and I said, and forgive me if I call him Gene because he is my best friend. Master Hahn, I held two boards up and I said, "Do you want to try to break these?" And he says, "Well, I can break two boards easy." I said, "How about with a step side kick? You know what that is?" He said, "Sure, I'll do that." So he said, "Okay, get a little bit further back and let's do that, and turn around and fix your uniform." So he turns around his uniform, and I took the two boards and I turned them a quarter turn over. Now, if you know anything about breaking boards, if the grains aren't lined up, they're very hard to break. If you go this way, they're next to impossible. It's like try kicking a piece of plywood sometime, right? And if they're an inch thick. So, you know, he didn't see me do it. He gets back, he gets all psyched up, and he throws this beautiful super kick right on the money, and the boards just go boom. And of course, I'm trying to keep a straight face. I said, "You just need to go a little bit harder." And he did it a little bit harder the next time. I said, "You know, Gene, if you're right there at the edge of it, you got to go a little bit harder." So Master Hahn wails it as hard as he could. And on about the fourth time, I said, "You know what, turn around and fix your uniform. It's not straight." And I switched the boards back, right? So on about the fifth or sixth time, I can't quite remember, he does this really strong kick straight into the board. And of course, they shattered, almost killed me, right? Because he was putting all the energy he possibly had in there. So I kept my mouth shut, and we go over to Carl's Jr. We had our terrible chicken sandwiches like we ate every single day of our lives back then. And it's all we could afford, right? And we basically, he asked me, he says, "Well, you know, were the boards wet? Because wet boards don't break, right? And then were they spruce or some other wood?" And I said, "No." And he said, "You know, I just can't understand why they didn't break. You know, they must have been really hard wood." And I said, "Well, they didn't break, Gene, simply because I turned the boards around." And his jaw drops. He says, "Well, why would you do that?" And I said, "Well, we had this theory, remember, that boards wouldn't break if you changed the grain. So I thought I would try and see if that theory was correct." So Master Hahn looks at me kind of blankly and he says, "Well, you know, what's the deal with that? I mean, why did you use me as a guinea pig?" And I said, "Well, like I said, I was testing a theory." He says, "Well, you're testing your theory, then why in the world did you stop and not keep going?" And I said, "Because my hands were getting tired, right?" And so I just looked at him. I knew I was going to get it back at some point in time. And I won't tell you the whole story, but one of the greatest fighters that was alive back then, and he's no longer alive, was Leroy Charbonnet. And he was a great fighter. And I never knew who he was. We're kind of new in the fighting scene. We're in the black belt division. And we both fought heavyweight. And Gene went out in the schoolyard and was watching a guy practice. This guy was throwing roundhouse kicks, you know, the kick with the instep of your foot. And he was hitting a basketball pole so hard with his pads on that the basketball thing was shaking like this. And so Gene gets this idea, he told me later, "Well, that's, you know, that guy's obviously pretty good. I don't want to get hit by that kick, right?" And so in those days, I don't know if you do it these days in tournaments, but you line up next to, in a group of a line, usually by height. And you can sometimes, you know, move a little bit over and pick the fighter that you want to fight. And we always wanted to fight someone easy, especially when we started out, so we'd an easy win. We'd go on the next tier, like you guys do. So he says, "John, this guy's, I saw him out in the schoolyard. I mean, he looks big, he looks good, but he's really clumsy and slow." You know, and I go, "Okay, well then, you know, thanks, Gene." Boom. So I line up next to him, and the guy almost killed me. All right. I lost decisively for two reasons. One, I trusted Gene. Right? I forgot about the concept of revenge, which we had which was very prevalent in our lives back then. We came to each other, and then, you know, I underestimated my opponent. Right, and so I taught Gene a lesson, you know, which we call in the military, pack your own shoe. Right, check your boards to make sure they're correct. The lesson I'm teaching you all today: don't trust your best friend. The other thing is, especially if he looks like me. The second thing is, you know, to never underestimate your opponent. And that's kind of the things that came out of that. That's the kind of relationship we had. And you know, we laughed about it right after it happened. We laughed about it ever since. So 36 or 37 years later, here we are today. And you know, we've never lost contact. We've raised our kids together. My son Ian is the same age as James. And you know, to say something about the Hahn family, it's a black belt family, and it's a martial arts family. And we have the consummate, I like to say, it's a wind in our sails, and we have someone behind us that really says, "Look, aren't you supposed to be at practice? You know, it's 15 minutes, and what are you doing sitting here having a nice warm dinner with me? Get out there and teach those kids. And this is exactly what Darlene Hahn has been since the inception of the youth program with all our students here. And the good people like Sensei Collins and Sensei Cody that come out of that program, are a direct result of Darlene pushing, a father that, had to make a choice. I love my family, I want to be there 100% for them, but Darlene recognized the fact that martial arts were inseparable from what Gene was. And where some of us in life, really, we all know people that would try to take that away and change a person. Darlene saw the virtue in building that up in his character and using that energy to help society. It does not get any better than that. So this is a Taekwondo Chang Moo Kwan mom, but she's the ultimate mom without the Chang Moo Kwan.
You should see her roundhouse.
But she's like my sister, and as I've always told her, we are Chang Moo Kwan family. We take care of our own, and she's really lucky and blessed. Gene is, and we all are to have such a wonderful person in our lives. So for Mrs. Hahn. Her official name, by the way, is Mr. and Master Gene Hahn. So when he got his master, I was lucky enough to give it to him several years ago. I was kind of tying it around both of them. And I'm giving Gene a certificate in front of a couple of hundred people, and I'm holding it up like this, and your instructor, Master Hahn, he's over here, and I got the certificate here, and Gene's going like this. So we stopped the whole ceremony and reprimanded Gene for peeking. He's trying to peek on the certificate. But only he knew, and I knew kind of the comedy, well, everybody did by that time, the comedy behind that situation. These two wonderful young people here, that I thought I knew before. I had no idea their inner strength, their resolve, and their commitment to their family. James and I have spent some time together, and this guy rocks. I mean, he's got all the confidence of a 75-year-old wise man in a 19-year-old body. He's a great poet, incredibly intelligent. He likes to play video games like me, and he's really a rock solid guy.
It's supposed to be a secret.
Well, yeah, it's out today. So James is a phenomenal young man. Kirsten officially adopted me as her uncle on last Tuesday, and I accepted gratefully. And which is, I don't have any nieces that I know of, so I got this one now. And she's a great niece to have. She's been so strong. She's definitely Daddy's little girl. She's Mommy's little girl, and she's got a great sidekick, and she's a great martial artist. So she's got that balance, like how would I say, beauty with the sidekick. Switchblade with lipsticks, as we used to call it in my day. So I'm confident that she's going to go on with both these young people are going to go on with their martial arts career. That's a burden on Cody and Mr. Collins we'll talk about later. But they're I mean that in a good way, right? But they're tremendous young people. So my heart goes out to both of these people. I want you to know that Christmas is a season of giving, and it's also a season for young people. It's a season of thanks. We have a lot to be thankful for. I wanted to invent my own holiday called like Thanks Christmas, or turkey giving, or whatever we can do to make Santa be half turkey, half Santa Claus. Whatever we can do to combine those two holidays and realize that sometimes this is a season where we tend to get more than we give. But remember that, especially with things going on in the Hahn family and with all of us, let's remember that it's also a time for prayer and a time for giving our thoughts and our prayers in a direction. And in this season, I'd like a lot of it to go towards Master Hahn. Keep him in your prayers. I want to say a little bit about these two guys, which deserve a whole lot. He's been Mr. Collins, a slip there, Freudian slip. He has really taken the helm in every aspect of what we're doing. We're on the phone a lot. I wanted to ask his permission to come down here. I mean, I know how important this is to him, but you know what? He's great on his own. I have every confidence. I've seen him interact today. I know how they interact with the teams. I know how he's always, communicating with the youth. I mean, his life is built around his son, his family, his wonderful wife, Susanna, and also you guys. I mean, he talks about you. I'm on the phone, it's all he talks about. It's all he, you know, and when you talk about something, you know, us guys who talk about martial arts, other people are talking about their golf games, about the tennis games, about their, you know, their Yahtzee score, I don't know what, but he's talking about his kids on his fighting team. You are part of the house. You are part of Mr. Collins, okay? And his son and his senior in martial arts, ironically so, is Cody, who, you know, I've seen blossom and grow in the last several years. I'm going to be a very confident young a person like the fighters here today, into what he is today, a fantastic fighter, a great son, a true leader, you know, leadership qualities that we can all aspire towards. So Cody and Mr. Collins, my hat goes off in the association to both of you. Way too much, but you know, you are what makes it all happen here, and I don't know everybody in the room, but I feel the energy, and that's what life's all about, carrying that energy forward. What Gene has taught me and teaches me every day now is we have to play it forward. And Gene's in a hospital room right now, and it's kind of an amazing place. I haven't told the Hahns, but last night a nurse comes in, the whole entire hospital knows Gene Hahn. So you know the spirit in the room. He has people that are off duty coming over and visiting him. You know, we want to see this guy Gene, you know. And you know, he's holding court in there, I mean, there's no celebrity that could have any person that's ever been in that hospital. Well, they said that that is the most significant hospital room that they've ever seen in that hospital. If you think about that, that's awesome. They talk about this family that's there all the time. This crazy guy that's in there all night sometimes and talking to him and holding his hand. I changed his bed today. I mean, it's amazing, and it's an honor to do that. And then Darlene comes in, and there's hugs and there's kisses, and the nurses all know Darlene, and they know Kirsten, they know James, you know, and they know your pictures are on the wall. Your pictures are going to be on the wall after today. That's your job, right? But that's no responsibility. But they're going to be on the wall. We have 50 or 100 pictures on the wall now. It looks like a living shrine. Yeah, it's a shrine.
Master Hahn has his own Hall of Fame in there.
Yeah, we have a shrine going there. And that's all your energy that we're bringing into that room, okay? It's a wonderful, solid energy that we're all sharing. So, again, I'm too long-winded. I want to thank everybody for your patience now. With any kind of change, there's a little bit of chaos, okay? So it's controlled chaos, and if things seem like they're going back and forth just a teeny bit, these two guys are going to tweak it up and get it going again, okay? I promise you that. These two guys can handle it, all right?
We'll work it out.
We'll work it out. So, do you have anything else?
Yeah, Cody would like to at some point.
Okay, sorry, one second. We have a website, and James?
Yeah, we have a site, and then we have a page. For those of you who may be on Facebook or just cruise the internet, there's a page on Facebook. It's called Gene Hahn's Care Page. You can check that out if you're on Facebook. And if you just want to cruise online, you can go to caringbridge.org. caringbridge.org. Nobody seems to get the first one, so just want to say it again. You go on there and you type in Gene Hahn, and you'll get his page. And I'll be updating that every few days, and I'll update it tonight. So if you're interested, you can go on there. It takes like 3 minutes. You have to sign in. This is a privacy policy on there. So just go ahead and do that, and we'll keep that updated for you.
Cody, would you like to say a couple things? Well, I'm Cody. I'm pretty sure everyone here knows that by now. A lot of you guys have been at Master Hahn for a while, and for those who don't know, when he started working at AYLP as an instructor, I was his first student, and got to be his first black belt brother by himself. And so I've got to know Master Hahn over the years. There's a lot of stuff that he doesn't do now that he used to do back then. Like he used to make me cry in the middle of class, for one. You guys probably know that. He used to spar back then. You guys never really got a chance to see him in action. Master Hahn, I'm pretty sure from what Grandmaster's told you, can get an idea. He was and still is one of the greatest fighters alive. He was a good mentor all around. Still is. You know, like I said, he's in the hospital bed right now, but he's still teaching to this point. Everyone that goes in there gets to see him. He's still showing us his leadership. And Master Hahn, if you guys don't already know, he's one of the nicest guys alive on this planet. if you need a ride anywhere, he would, if he couldn't do it personally, if he couldn't arrange every one of his plans that day around to give you a ride somewhere, he would find someone that could, or any kind of problem you had, he would do whatever he could in his power to make it happen. I don't know any other person that is that dedicated to helping people like Kirsten was saying. He's that man that would do anything to help anybody. He just wants to make everyone's life easier. And even, you can ask my dad, he went in there to go visit him. He, he's in the hospital and he still managed to find time to laugh. It's just a very, it's not easy to talk about it. These are my family right here, so it's not easy to talk about.
As you guys know, me and Cody are really close to Master Hahn. All you guys are really close to Master Hahn, okay? When I walked in his room, you know how I am, I made a big production. I walked in the room, there's nurses in there, I said, hey, everybody in here know that this is the greatest martial artist on earth. This is Master Gene Hahn. And he raised his head up off the bed and he looked at me and he says, you got that right. And that was the coolest thing I heard all day. Okay? He laughed at jokes. We held hands most of the day. And we went through a lot of little things together. Me and him been through a ton of stuff together. He's helped me raise my son. He's a really good guy. I'm gonna have we're having a benefit dinner for him Saturday. If the best thing you guys could do is everybody show up, okay? We're doing the best we can with what we have, okay? You guys are stuck with me for a while. I'll make it right. I made some mistakes on this testing and all that, but as you can probably tell, it's pretty hard for me, okay? But Gene Hahn will still carry you, right? No matter what we do, he'll be there with us. No matter how this turns out, Master Hahn will always carry this room.
Each one of you guys that are already training, including the parents, we are carrying on his legacy from this point, like you said, to whatever happens. We are Master Hahn.
You always bow to Gene Hahn, okay? I'm having a benefit deal this Saturday. There's some tickets that we have here. We're taking donations for the family, okay? All it is a hot dog, hamburger event. We're gonna watch the movies at the Cayman's house. They couldn't be here tonight. They're in a school play right now. But it's really important for you guys to show up if you can, okay? And anything you can do to help them out. If you see Mrs. Jenkins here, she's kind of handling the food part of it for me. So if there's anything that you guys can do to help out, that would be great. I think that she has, they're passing around this poster board right now. That on Saturday, I'll be taking that to Master Hahn. And me and the Grandmaster will read everything that you guys wrote on that board will be spoken to Master Hahn that day.
Mr. Collins, have you seen how many things are on that board?
We're going to be reading for a while, sir.
Now that part you didn't tell me, okay, but okay, all right.
We're
all right. So
together-
I'll book the
together,
day. I'll book the day on that one, so.
This is my only chance to get to tell this guy something, right?
I'm
Because
listening too, I'll tell you what.
he's helped me a ton, okay? He calls me every day to help me get through all this, okay?
Take a deep breath. We're not gonna let you do, you gotta say what you gotta say.
You guys can imagine how hard it is. This is a man